Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss soil class 7. Soil is a natural resource. It supports the growth of plants by holding the roots firmly and supplying water and nutrients. It is the home for many organisms. Soil is essential for agriculture. Agriculture provides food, clothing and shelter for all. So soil is a very important natural resources from which we get food, clothing and shelter, and is also home for many organisms. Formation of soil. The soil is formed by breaking down of rocks by the action of wind, water and climate, and this process is known as weathering. So the process of breaking down of rocks to form soil is called weathering, and the agents of weathering are wind, water and different climatic factors. The mixture of rock particles and humus is called soil. Living organisms such as bacteria, plant roots and earthworm are also important parts of the soil. So as you can see here in this figure, if we dissolve soil in water, you can see there are the different layers of the soil which will settle down, and this total all the different types of rock particles like gravel, sand, clay and humus and living organisms form soil. Soil profile. The soil profile is a vertical section of the soil which depicts all the layers of the soil. So if you look at here, this is the soil profile and this is a vertical section which depicts the different layer of the soil. Now if we look into the diagram, we can see the soil in the soil profile. It is divided into 4 horizons. So first is A horizon, then second B horizon, C horizon and the last is bedrock. So these are the 4 layers of soil profile. First we are going to discuss about A horizon. This layer is also called the topsoil. It is visible to us. It contains large amount of humus and minerals, and that is why it is dark in color. The soil is rich in nutrients because of the presence of humus. The topsoil has a soft texture and can retain water easily. That is why plant roots grow in the topsoil region. The topsoil is a home to many living organisms as well, like insects, worms, beetles, rodents and molds. So the first layer of the soil is the A horizon. As you can see here, it is dark in color because of the presence of humus. This is also the layer in which the plants grow because it is fertile because of the presence of humus, and this is also the layer in which different organisms are found. So this is the top soil or A horizon. Okay, next we go to the B horizon or the middle layer. It is the next layer of the soil which does not contain much humus. The minerals are found in large quantities. The layer has hard texture, light color and is more compact than the topsoil. So the B horizon, if you see, then you will see that the B horizon has less humus, more minerals, and the rocks are also quite hard in comparison to the A horizon. Next, C horizon or the third layer. The third layer of the soil consists of small rocks with cracks in them. The rocks are partly weathered. So in C horizon you get rocks which are partly weathered. Okay, these are not completely broken down into small pieces, and here the amount of humus is negligible. There is no humus, we can say, and also this is much more harder than the B horizon. Then bedrock. The last layer of the soil is called bedrock. It contains large pieces of rocks that are not weathered or exposed to any wind or water. Bedrock cannot be dug with the help of spade. It is very hard in texture. So the last layer of the soil, bedrock, it is very hard in the structure and it cannot be dug up. And this is a parent rock from which the different layer of the soil has been formed. Now we come to the types of soil. So first let us discuss about sandy soil. So this is sandy soil. So these are made up of large particles, and these large particles of soils are known as sand. The space between these particles are filled with air. So sandy soils are well aerated soils. So because there is large particles in the soil and this soil has very less humus, so the water generally does not, the soil cannot hold water, so the water generally moves out of the soil, so the air spaces are more and therefore it is well aerated soil. Because of large spaces, water can easily penetrate through the particles of the sand. So sandy soil, however, cannot hold water. So because of these large spaces, the water cannot be held by this soil. So this water just penetrates through the particles of the soil. Hence, sandy soil are light, aerated and dry in nature. So if you see the sandy soil, it is lighter, it's aerated, that means it has lots of air, and it is dry in nature. Sandy soil lacks much nutrients, hence do not support the diverse growth of plants. So you will find very few plants that will grow in sandy soil, the plants which have very deep roots or which do not require much water. For example, cactuses. You will find cactuses growing in sandy soil because these plants, they do not require much water. Next we come to clay soil. It consists of fine particles which have less space between them. Clay soil are not well aerated, and the tiny gaps between the particles allow absorption of water. So you can see here, this is clay soil. The particles are so fine that it can hold a lot of water, so its water holding capacity is much more, and because of this the soil have less spaces for air, so they are not well aerated. They are able to hold water, hence are suitable for the growth of different kinds of plants. So the plants which require more water, for example rice, wheat, this type of plants, they grow in clay soil because they require more water. So these are the characteristics of clay soil. Now we come to the loamy soil. Now loamy soil consists of similar amount of large and small particles. So this soil is a mixture of all the different types of soil, you can say. So it is a combination of sand, clay and silt. Okay, so sand are very large particles, clay are small fine particles, and silt is a particle which is size is in between sand and clay. So this loamy soil, it has all different types of particles of soil, and it also contains humus, so they can hold water in appropriate amounts and therefore they support the growth of the plants. They are also called agricultural soil because of their fertility and appropriate texture. So loamy soil, because it has this mixture of all the particles, it is the appropriate soil for agriculture. So this is also known as agricultural soil, and most of the agricultural plants grow in loamy soil. Now we come to the properties of soil. First we will discuss the percolation of water through the soil. So percolation is defined as the property of the soil by which it allows the flow of water through it. The rate at which the water percolates or moves through soil may vary in different kinds of soil. So percolation rate is the rate at which the water is absorbed by the soil. So some soil absorb water while others allow it to flow through them. So the rate of the percolation can be calculated. So this is the formula by which we can calculate the percolation rate. So percolation rate is ml per minute is equal to amount of water, that is in milliliter, by percolation time, that is in minute. So by using this formula we can find out the percolation rate of different soils. So generally sandy soil has more percolation rate in comparison to clay soil. So sandy soil has the most and the clay soil has the least percolation rate. Next is the moisture that is present in the soil. So moisture is the amount of water that is present in the soil. Even a dry soil has some amount of moisture. However, clay soil has the highest content of moisture. So how do we find out how much moisture is present in the soil? So we take a boiling tube. So this is a boiling tube, and we take a 2 spoonful of soil sample, and then we heat it under a flame, and on heating the water in the soil will evaporate and will we can observe this water as droplets here which has condensed on the upper part of the boiling tube. Now if we want to find out the amount of water in the soil, we can measure the weight of the soil before and after heating. So first we measure the weight of the soil before heating it, and then after heating it, when all the moisture has evaporated, then we can again measure the weight of the soil and we can find out what is the moisture content of the soil. So here also we'll find that clay soil will have the highest moisture content, whereas sandy soil will have the least. Now absorption. How much water is absorbed by the type of soil, we can find out through this formula, through this experiment. So take a plastic funnel. So this is the funnel. Take a filter paper and place it in the funnel. So this is filter paper that is placed on this funnel. Weigh 50 grams of dry powdered soil and pour it into the funnel. So first we have to weigh 50 gram of dry soil and then we have to pour it in here inside the filter paper. Measure a certain amount of water in a measuring cylinder and pour it drop by drop on the soil. So in a measuring cylinder we take the water, say for example 50 ml of water, and then we will use this dropper to pour the water on the soil. So you have this funnel, then you have the filter paper, and in the filter paper you have the soil, and you are adding the water drop by drop, and this water will percolate through this soil and will fall in the beaker. So by this after we pour all the water, for example if we pour 50 ml of water, and then if we find that the amount of water here is 30 ml, that means 20 ml has been absorbed by the soil that is present in the funnel. So now how will you calculate the absorption? So first we will take the weight of the soil. So we know that we have taken 50 gram weight of the soil. Initial volume of water in the measuring cylinder, we'll take it as U. Okay, say for example we are taking 50 ml of water, so initial volume is 50 ml. Final volume of water in the measuring cylinder is taken as V. So for example if the final volume in the beaker is 30 ml, we take it as 30 ml. Volume of water absorbed by the soil, U minus V. So if you take 50 and 30 here, so 50 minus 30, that is 20 ml will be the volume of water absorbed by the soil. Now weight of the water absorbed by the soil will be in this gram, that is U minus V gram, that is 20 gram. Then percentage of water absorbed, that will be 20 U minus V, that is we got 20 by 50 into 100, and you will get the percentage of water absorbed. So like this you can find out how much of water is absorbed by the soil. So here also you will find that clay soil will be absorbing the most amount of water, and sandy soil on the other hand will absorb the least amount of water. Soil and crops. Different types of soils are found in different regions, and because of this they decide the soil structure of the place and the type of crops that will grow. So let us see some of the crops that grow in different types of soil. Sandy soil, potato, corn, and different types of cactus, etc. That type of plants will grow. So if we are talking about crops, potato, corn, this requires a sandy soil or sandy soil mixed with loamy soil. Clay soil, wheat, rice, gram, this generally grow in clay soil. And loamy soil, pulses, cotton, vegetables, and most of the agricultural crops, they grow on loamy soil. Soil pollution. So dumping of non-biodegradable substance like plastics and polythene, they cause soil pollution. You can see here the different types of substances which are non-biodegradable. If it is thrown in the soil, they will not degrade for hundreds of years and will pollute the soil. Waste products from industries which contain chemicals also affect the soil adversely. Excess of fertilizers and pesticides pollute the soil and decrease its fertility. So these are the things that cause soil pollution. Now how can you reduce soil pollution? Before dumping anything waste into the soil, it must be treated properly. Pesticides and fertilizers should be used in minimum quantity. And lastly, materials like plastics should be banned, as we pollute the soil and affect the living organisms as well. Now let us talk about soil erosion. So what is soil erosion? When the top layer of the soil gets removed, it is called soil erosion. Now as we have studied in the soil profile, the top layer of the soil, the top soil is the most fertile. It contains humus and it is important for growth of plants. But if the topsoil is not there, then that soil becomes barren and plants, they do not grow in such type of soil. Now how is this topsoil removed? The soil erosion mainly occurs when the soil is left loose without vegetation or when deforestation occurs. In such a situation, strong winds and flowing water or rainwater takes away the topsoil and therefore decrease its quality. So what happens is that when you cut trees, when you cut the forest, the roots of the trees, they hold the topsoils. Now when the trees are not there, when the grasses are not there, the soil becomes loose, and when the soil becomes loose, this can be easily carried away by strong winds or flowing water, and that is how the topsoil is removed. Now once the topsoil is removed, this soil will become less fertile and will not be good for growing plants. The root of the plants and trees keep the soil together and allow several microorganisms to grow and survive there. Therefore, it is always advised to plant more trees and avoid deforestation. Thank you.